toss it to you
OG.
first.
Damn OG.
Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the NBA playoffs so far. Jaevon, factor cap.
It's tough. I'm going to say this cap. I think it's Anthony Edwards. Age, he's 22. Swept the super team who a bunch of guys were saying. I was one of those guys. The Phoenix Suns, a lot of people had them in the preseason as soon as that Bradley Beal deal was done. They're going to the finals. There's no way you can guard these guys. I was a huge advocate for them. I think I did say that they would lose to the Nuggets, like in the Western Conference Finals, but I was pretty bullish on the Phoenix Suns. They kind of had a disappointing year. Anthony Edwards was kind of just popping out of nowhere. Now, Jalen Brunson has been playing out of his ass. We already mentioned the stats of him, Jerry West, Michael Jordan, and I forget who the other guy was on that list. But he's definitely like 1B right now. I'm looking off of who Anthony Edwards has been playing. He played Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Now Jalen Brunson did eliminate Joel Embiid, who was the former MVP, which was no slouch. They kind of gave up a game, and what was that, game 5 or 4 that was, where they let Tyrese Halliburton score 7 points in like 30 seconds, which was insane. But he's been on a tear. Like we said, he's had 4 40-point games in a row. Basically, without Jalen Brunson, this team is a lottery team. who's going to be the guy?
And Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo certainly aren't what
and
they have.
Timing buckets from Jalen Brunson too, man.
Is DiVincenzo or Josh Hart going to have to score 30 a night, 40 a night if Jalen Brunson is there? So I think Brunson has been absolutely incredible. But I think what we've been seeing from Anthony Edwards so far, by the way, they are undefeated in the playoffs. What they did last night was remarkable. But without, not even having Rudy Gobert, who was there for the birth of his child the other night, and still be able to win by like 30 points is insane. So I would have to say it's Anthony Edwards. So I'll say that this is a cap.
Garry, factor cap. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the NBA playoffs so far.
I think this is cap just because I think Vaughn hit it right on the money. It's just literally neck and neck, and by the points, he's leading he's offensive leader in points in the playoffs right now with 36.6, and at 32.3 and we can't sleep on Nikola is still obviously doing his thing, and even though he has had quote unquote 2 bad games in this series, he's still averaging 27. And I want to make sure we mention SGA too, because he might not be doing it. Yeah, it might not be doing the same exact quote unquote scoring numbers exactly as the regular season, but right now he's at 27.32. So guys are stepping up, and in the playoffs, this is what you do. Like Edwards, Jalen Brunson are doing. You step up from what the regular season is. What Shaq always says with his G classification, always mentioned
G14 classification.
G14 classification. I'll be just taking the reference from the big man and the Hall of Famer, saying that you got to bump up 4 to 5 points, and that's what you're seeing right now from Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson. So this might be capped just because. It's nip and tuck with Jalen Brunson on a hot streak right now, but you really haven't seen. I don't think Minnesota lost a game, right? They're 6-0. They're 6-0 so far.
Undefeated, yeah.
Haven't lost a game, and so haven't lost a game, undefeated. And the Knicks, how she did lose a game, obviously to Philadelphia. I think 2 games, right? So. That factor a little bit leaning towards Ant. I think that him just Vaughn just mentioned taking down the big 3 in Phoenix, the way he did and the dog mentality, and just like I think someone said he's not just a dog, he's a dog off the loose or something like it was just even more like someone had a reference of him how much more of a killer he is. So him, Shea, and Luka, and like I mentioned and Brunson, they're all kind of playing great right now. That's what their teams are advancing. That's what their teams are where they're at today. Obviously, the Celtics have multiple guys, so that's why we haven't really mentioned any players on that team. And so I'm gonna give the edge to like Vaughn said, I'm gonna give the edge to Edwards just because of the flair and everything into it. He's been playing like the best player in the NBA playoffs so far. And one key thing I think we didn't even mention that I think I'll just add a little sprinkle to what Vaughn mentioned is that defensively, that man is guarding whoever needs to be guarded. You want me to go guard KD? Got you, coach. Want me to go guard Book? Got you, coach. This series now coming up. Who do you want me to guard? You want me to guard? Jamal Murray all game? Got you, coach. You want me to guard other Murray? Got you, coach. I'm sorry. The Michael Porter Jr. As whoever you want me to guard, I'll guard him. He don't care. He's not scared of nobody. Not ducking no smoke. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is, but they got the tools for their player. Their team to guard those best players. Where he don't have to do that on both sides. And we all know playing both sides, and especially what we mentioned earlier, Shaun in Denver. Oh man, and Edwards. But he said he went to a Warriors trip. I think that was his pre-draft workout with the Warriors. And they said he ain't good enough. He ain't working hard enough. You're not conditioned enough.
Oh yeah, the Warriors.
All these things. And so when they told him that, and he said I went back to the lab and I got better. He's showing all the way till now. Like those are one of the keys to success, guys, who can still play through tiredness, through your body's wearing down the playoffs. What I'm saying? You're on 100, man. And can you still be mentally tough enough to take those fourth quarter shots like these two guys been doing, to make the right plays, not to gas out and make that little slight turnover that is going to cost you at the end. So I know it's a long-winded answer, Shaun, my bad. And I said I copy everything Vaughn said. But man, oh man, these guys are playing great. And so I got Mr. Edwards, Ant-Man himself playing. I seen a cool little meme real quick. Ant-Man playing in the Joker, and they got the Joker anime, like the Joker Marvel, and Ant-Man just beating them out. So it was pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool dynamic, man. These guys are playing all great. Can't wait to see who's going to be the champ.
No surprise here. This is a fact. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the NBA playoffs so far. I mean, this is stats over politics after all, right? Jalen Brunson, guys, I know I mentioned the stats earlier where in the last 5 games he's had 210 points, most since Michael Jordan in 1993. Okay, I already said that.
No big deal.
Oh, no big deal. Puts himself with Bernard King, Michael Jordan, and Jerry West has 2 more, but puts himself with those 3 legends with 4 consecutive 40-point games. Already talked about that. Let's get to some other stuff. Did you guys know that Jalen Brunson is the only player in playoff history to average over 40 points a game and over 9 assists per game over a 5-game span? He's not just scoring like we talked about. Okay, yeah, Ant's not just scoring. He's also playing defense. And he's been doing so many great things. So has SGA, and it's like you're choosing from the gold mine here. But to me, Jalen Brunson has clearly been the best player in the NBA playoffs because, as I said, he's not just scoring, he's also facilitating. And in this one playoff run, Jalen Brunson is 2 40-point games away from tying Bernard King for the most 40-point playoff games in Knicks history. You guys know how many Patrick Ewing had in his entire Knicks tenure? 2. How many did Carmelo Anthony, how many 40-point games did he have as a Knick?
Carl Anthony.
2. Yeah, Carl Anthony, Carmelo Anthony, Carl Anthony. It's too damn close. But, yeah.
Carmelo, all those guys are sitting at the court side of the game. They're there.
They sure were. Yeah. Carmelo had 2 40-point games as a Knick. Patrick Ewing, 2 40-point games as a Knick. Jalen Brunson has had 5 just in this playoff run so far, and he's guaranteed to have at least 3 more games. Actually, he's guaranteed to have at least 4 more, and that's if the Pacers were to sweep him from here on. Finally, we look at active playoff scoring leaders. Jalen Brunson, and I believe that this is throughout their career. I'm looking at this stat right now on Brunson Muse. Stat Muse's Jalen Brunson account. On Brunson Muse, you look at active playoff scoring leaders. Jalen Brunson is at the top. 36.6 points per game is how much he averages in the playoffs. Then there's a big gap. Oh, there's your guys' guy. Anthony Edwards, 32.3. A whole 4 points lower. And then you go Luka Doncic, 29.8, Donovan Mitchell, 28.7, SGA, 27.3. And again, like I already mentioned, he's also doing it with assists, so he's not just scoring. This is a fact. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the NBA playoffs so far. And I will conclude this just by saying, as I was going to earlier, if you had told me 6 months ago that the big three of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo would have a longer playoff run than the big three of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, I would have said that you were smoking crack and stay away from me. Well, guess what? I guess that's the case because these guys have been going nuts. Guys,